Welcome to Butcher Block Horror Podcast, where we exhume horror movies from the past and cut into what makes them so delectable. I'm Kane.
I am JD.
And I'm Joe.
And today we're going to be throwing Black Christmas onto the slab and carving up our favorite portions to force feed to you, our unwitting victims. If you enjoy the taste of these feasts of fright, then give us a like and subscribe, being sure to click the bell. Consider taking a look at our website, wegiveYouBrainworms.com. This can make it to where you can look at other projects we're working on and link you to our Patreon. We also have recently created a Discord community, and there's a channel link right underneath that Patreon link.
Yep.
Everything he said is the truth.
It is. So feel free to drop by. There's usually one of us in there.
Yeah, I'm in there right now.
And I'm dreaming of a black Christmas.
I was trying to get a cool harmony going.
Sorry. We'll try it again later.
Well, yeah, so because Joe likes Christmas, we decided to do Black Christmas.
But we're really celebrating Halloween.
Second Halloween, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's in my heart right now.
Yep.
Every day is Halloween for me. So
Halloween.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Christmas, to be honest with you. It's very commercialized, and I'm not a religious person, and it just feels like capitalism at its
You just have to
purest
find
form.
the Christmas spirit inside of yourself, JD.
Yeah, I look and I'll search around and poke around, and I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in there, but it's not in there anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can't find any Christmas spirit in myself as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I celebrate it because I have a daughter that really likes Christmas. But
Right.
honestly, if I was to call it Abigail Gets Free Shit Day instead of Christmas, she would probably still be just as excited.
Sure.
Yeah.
The important thing is that she gets whatever she's asking for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
It's only important to her, though.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy seeing her enjoy.
Watch her open the presents.
Yeah.
Be happy.
Yeah.
It's good to be
By
happy.
proxy. Is that I enjoy
Yeah.
Christmas by proxy.
I understand that. It's all shaping up to me now. It's making sense. You've just warmed my heart like a chestnut.
Is it 3 sizes too big?
Something like that.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
Okay, Joe, we get it. All right? We get it.
I'm just trying to spread some Christmas cheer,
Yeah, how about you just shut the fuck up?
I just want to
Bah humbug.
Want to meet under the
Exactly.
mistletoe
Bah humbug.
and give you guys a big Christmas kiss.
You know what?
Aw.
I don't need mistletoe. When this pandemic is over, I'm going to strangle you to death with my tongue down your throat.
Damn.
That's very upsetting. Yeah.
That's a hell of a way to die.
Yeah, I'm going to massage your tonsils with my tongue.
All right.
Because you got a tongue like Gene Simmons, don't you?
That's more like Freddy Krueger from Freddy's Revenge.
Or a tongue
is-
like the vines from Evil Dead.
Terrifying. Absolutely fucking terrifying.
Yeah, that's
Thank
the point.
you for that
Horror
visual.
podcast.
Yeah.
Well,
I
hey,
just
JD,
pictured-
why don't we go ahead and talk about the Black Christmas synopsis?
All right. But I'm going to preface this synopsis real quick by saying that this is 100% one of the first slasher films made.
Hell
yeah.
And it was also said to be an enormous influence over John Carpenter with his creation of the film Halloween.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds right.
There's a pretty large debt here owed to the writing of the original Black Christmas of 1974. So I'll go on with the synopsis.
Do it, nerd.
So yeah, with that said, a murderous cretin scales a sorority house and sneakingly gains entrance, hiding out as creepsters do. In the attic, of course, there's a phone call. It's not a good phone call. And sorority girls begin to die. Families get alarmed. Murder followed by murder.
Yeah, so we probably could have just said a madman stakes out a sorority house and starts killing people inside. I mean, I said synopsis. I don't say tell
every
the whole
bit of
plot,
what
JD.
you said is true.
You can tell me the plot.
enjoy.
No,
I just like to hear your voice.
I like to hear his
Spoiling.
voice too, but I'd like him to move away. I don't want him to tell the whole movie. All right, we get it.
Such a butthole.
I'm just saying. I said synopsis. Don't recite the movie to me.
Hashtag spoiler alert, the police fuck up and the movie ends rough. We'll just put it that way.
It does.
All right. You know what?
So
Let's move along.
Really, the cops are the real villains in this movie.
They could be. Black Christmas was released in October of 1974. 74, I'm going to go ahead and just lay this out front. That was a nice year for some horror films, because you also had Deranged, which we discussed in season 1, and that was also released in 74, and there are some of the same players in this film.
It's true.
Yeah.
This film has a sneaky vibe.
It does. It's a very sneaky movie.
Yeah.
Lots of sneaking happening.
So who do we get to thank as far as directors are concerned for this movie?
Jesus.
Shut up, Joe. Shut the fuck up.
I'm going to get to the spooky possibilities here and go ahead and talk about the director of Black Christmas, Bob Clark. Clark was born in 1939 in New Orleans. And let me just go on for a second about New Orleans, because that's my favorite fucking place.
Do you want Joe and I to come back after you've had your moment with New Orleans?
Yeah, I mean, I've got my tea. I can just take a minute while you...
No, it's okay. I'm just... All right, I'll reel it back in. I'm reeling it. Okay, I'm back. Anyway, he was only born in New Orleans. He actually grew up in Birmingham, Alabama. Clark is known for his work directing films and as a screenwriter, also as a producer. In fact, Clark directed and produced Black Christmas. So we got a 2-for-1.
It's not the only Christmas movie that he's responsible for.
That is the truth, and I will get to that if you allow it.
Okay.
If the Saints allow.
If the Saints allow it.
Right. If they come marching in and they allow it, then we'll...
That happened.
Anyway, Bob did a lot of work in the Canadian film industry. And a lot of that has to do with a little thing called taxes.
Comes up a lot in the movies we cover.
Time. We'll talk about taxes another time.
No, we won't. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a recurring theme of, directors. Like, I made this movie in some other country
because it was
financial
cheaper
reasons. Yeah.
So yeah, Black Christmas, Murder by Decree, Tribute, and Porky's 2 were all shot between the United States and Canada. So Bob Clark did the Canadians a real solid. And I'm just saying, I'm talking a little bit about the Canadians right now to prove that I don't hate them, because
no one ever accused you of hating.
That's not true, Joe.
Oh, no, that we did.
Yeah. Most definitely accused of hating Canada.
It's not that we accused you. It's that you...
didn't you admit to it, to disliking Canadians on the air?
Well, you framed it out. You framed it out in a particular way after I'd been falsely accused, and it made me sound like an enormous prick. And truth be told, I love Canadians. Anyway.
Oh, well, I'm glad we got that settled.
Yep.
You shouldn't hate an entire people because of where they're
that's
from.
not cool, JD.
Well, they've already got it rough enough. It's cold, it's icy. They don't need my venom.
They have single payer health care.
Yeah.
A government that cares about them.
Oh, I know, right. They got it so rough over there. Anyway, back to Bob Clark. He's well known for the Porky's, not the whole franchise, but Porky's 1 and 2, which
we get a lot of crew from Porky's. On this show.
It's really sad. It makes me upset because Porky's is terrible.
Hey, watch your fucking language. That's not something you should say in front of me, because I enjoyed some of the Porky's movies.
I also don't like meatballs.
What?
Mm-hmm. How about Revenge of the Nerds?
That's a good one too.
I'm torn on that one. Because
Revenge of the Nerds is classy.
It depends.
No.
Revenge of the Nerds has like a sexual assault in the first 15
it
minutes of the movie.
Quite a few pretty gross moments peppered through Revenge of the Nerds.
But there's one, I don't remember which one it is, where they put on like a rock show.
I don't know.
That was
I don't want to talk
that might
about
have
Revenge
been
of the Nerds.
the sequel. I think that was the sequel.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we'll do a separate episode for Revenge of the Nerds.
Back to Black Christmas and Bob Clark in particular. Bob Clark was responsible for A Christmas Story.
You'll shoot your eye out.
Yeah. This guy loves him some fucking Christmas because he is directly responsible for 2 Christmas films in 2 different genres.
In 2 different eras.
Yeah. So he's clearly down with the baby Jesus and...
or maybe he's down with Santa Claus. You know, you can't just put Jesus on him.
Well, whoever. Anyway, Clark was the recipient of 3 Genie Awards, 2 of which were for Best Director and the other for Best Screenplay. And he had 2 additional nom-noms, a.k.a. nominations. I like to call them nom-noms.
Nom-nom.
Anyway, yep, nom-nom-nom-nom. Anyway, Clark began his career with the 1972 film Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things.
Which we need to watch at some point.
Yeah, that would be excellent. And it was the capacity he was involved in that was with writing. It was a collaboration with our old friend Alan Ormsby, the director of Deranged.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, and actually, Bob Clark co-directed Deranged.
Right.
So that's a little interesting detail.
Yeah, there's a few Deranged alums that find themselves in Black Christmas as well.
Oh, yeah, and they were good. They were fun.
Yeah,
they were fun.
We'll get to those later, though.
We most definitely will get to them. Anyway, Clark and Ormsby also worked on a horror film in the zombie subcategory called Death Dream.
Weird.
And Death Dream has an alternate title, Night of the Dead, and this film came out in 1972, which I own a copy of. So there's a co-producer listed, Jerry Arbide, born 1934 in Essex, England. And Arbide was credited on the IMDb page as the assistant director and production manager of Black Christmas. Best known for The Neptune Factor, Glory Days, and Touch of Leather. And a Canadian film called The Disappearance.
Is that similar to The Vanishing with Kiefer Sutherland and Jeff Bridges?
Completely different film.
Okay, I just wanted to put that out there because Sandy Bullock is in that movie. Go ahead.
Oh my God.
Your old sister, Sandy Bullock.
Your dream sister.
Back to that.
Did you ever follow up on that via Twitter.com?
No.
Because I think she would like to know.
I just said that shit so you guys would shut the fuck up.
I think you need to go to the mall with her and get slices of pizza and eat them in the food court. And
call her on the phone and like lay backwards on your bed with your feet kicked up.
Yeah, well, eating ice cream.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just going to go ahead and ask Kane if he'd like to introduce some of the cast members of Black Christmas.
No, because Joe is going to talk about the script.
I am. Yeah, I'm going to talk about writer Roy Moore, not the pervert Judge Roy Moore.
Whew, I'm glad that you added that.
Although the writer of this film and the monster American judge having a common name made this episode very difficult to do research for. But yeah, not famous pervert. Actual screenwriter Roy Moore was born in 1944 in Ontario, Canada. He didn't do a ton of writing outside of, or at least he doesn't have a ton of writing credits outside of 1974 Black Christmas, and this almost feels like a courtesy. He was given a credit for the remake as well. Outside of that, he wrote a TV show in 75 called The Adventures of Timothy Pilgrim that didn't look terribly interesting. And like a couple of other things for television, but he didn't write much, at least based on the research that I was able to do and not learn about the sex offender judge. But he originally wrote the script for this movie under the name Fuck.
That's a strange name. I would find that interesting that he just decided to go with that name as his screenwriting credit.
Yeah. No, the original name for the script.
Oh, okay.
Under just the name Stop, apparently.
Huh.
According to him, in interviews later, it was inspired by the urban legend about the babysitter and the killers upstairs and the calls coming from inside the house, which a lot of that transferred into the movie.
Yes, it did.
And also a series of murders that occurred in Canada in 1943. Exactly.
Was it a series of sorority sisters that were murdered?
I don't know. I tried to dig into that, and it seemed kind of unclear about the specifics of those murders. And then the producers of the movie brought in another writer, Tim Bond, and he did some revisions. You know, he added the kind of lighthearted comedic elements.
Oh, that makes sense, actually.
Yeah, like you can kind of feel that friction in the movie.
Oh yeah,
between like the darker kind of serial killer horror stuff.
Right.
And the wackadoo college comedy.
Sure.
And moving it to a college setting was also his work. It was originally about a babysitter.
And that could be a sprinkle of like Porky's flavor onto that as well.
Is that just...
No, that wasn't a wordplay or any of that. It was a feeling that I had. I thought, okay, well,
a Porky
it makes
feeling?
sense. Yeah, it was like the Porky feeling you get when you connect the dots between...
Porky feeling?
Yeah, you don't get Porky feelings ever?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, you're all alone then, I guess.
And before I move on, I would also like to give a credit to Debbie Weldon, costume designer for this movie. She did a lot of costume work. It's not super relevant. I'm not going to go into it, but she did work up until about 2009 in various films. The costume design in this movie was immaculate. Everybody looked super cool.
Except for the fur. That really pissed me off.
It was faux fur. JD,
you don't know that for a fact.
Okay, I do. I know
it doesn't have anything to do with me.
Because I contacted Care Dulia.
It has to do with animal cruelty.
I asked him about it, and he said absolutely not. There was no real fur worn in this film. Your comrade in arms is being upset for no reason.
Well, the one guy had a very Chewbacca-esque looking coat on.
It did have a very Chewbacca kind of look to it.
It was troubling to me.
But yeah, I just wanted to shout her out because everybody looked super cool.
She did an awesome job.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really did.
And then, Joe, what do we know about the DP?
Do you want to talk about that on the air?
Oh, the cinematographer.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Normally, though, behind the scenes, Kane won't shut up about DP.
I just like to see how many things I can fit in there. All right, I don't need your judgment.
It's good to challenge yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. Should we talk about Black Christmas, or do you just want to talk about Dick all night?
Let's talk about Black Christmas.
Okay. Reg Harris was the cinematographer and director of photography on this film.
Reg.
Born in 1918 in Middlesex, England, and he died, unfortunately, in 2004 at the age of 85.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he's got credits going back to the 50s. He did a little bit of directing and then, obviously, director of photography, cinematography stuff, mostly in documentaries.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of documentaries throughout his career. I guess that's kind of what he wound up specializing in.
Right on.
Yeah. But he was the DP for A Christmas Story and both Porky's films. He was the director of photography for a concert recording by the band Yes called 9012 Live.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And a 1982 film that sounded kind of cool that I don't know anything about called Murder by Phone. But most of his other work was in documentaries. But he did a lot of cool camera stuff in this movie. Apparently, like the first person shots of the killer were created by, they improvised a rig that let them strap a camera to a camera operator's face.
Right, to give you that point of view type of shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
And like the shot of the killer going up the side of the house, they actually sent a guy up with this heavy fucking rig that they put together strapped to his skull.
I'll bet that stunt person loved that.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Climbing up the side of a house with a camera strapped to your face.
I think it's funny you think they had the budget for a stunt person.
Yeah, I think they might have just sent a cameraman up there, to be honest.
Well, they had a budget of $620,000.
So then they had no budget.
Very, very, very small budget. Yeah. So
yeah, that's it. I'd kind of like to watch that Yes recording just to see what he brought to it in terms of cinematography.
Well, I mean, one of the shots that strikes me and really gave me chills is when Jess gets notified that the calls are coming from inside the house. And she goes to get her sorority sisters, and she just sees his eye through the like slit in the open doorway.
Which was a peculiarly colored eye.
Yes, it had like a red hue to it.
It almost had like a double iris in a strange way, like a bullseye or something.
Yeah, it was fucking creepy, and I loved it.
But the visual language of this movie, specifically in like the motion of the camera, was really cool.
It really was. So kudos to you, sir.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess I will do as JD asked, and I will discuss the actors.
You don't have to do things just because JD tells you to, Kane.
Have you seen what happens
Joe,
if you tell him no?
Tell him that he could not listen to me.
I hate it when you fight.
Regardless, so we'll start with Olivia Hussey. It could be Hussey. You know, when I was looking up pronunciations, it's whatever. Olivia Hussey. I'm not leaving without my sisters, Jess Bradford. Born April 17th, 1951 in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Our listeners will note that that's where Hitler sent his people. No, Jess was scripted as like a timid but strong young woman. And then there were obvious feminist undertones that the character shows. A good example would be by her telling her creep-ass musician boyfriend that she's going to have an abortion regardless of what he wants.
Right.
And I would like to point out that this movie came out after Roe v. Wade had been decided the year prior. So it's kind of neat. In my opinion.
Definitely.
You know, she's got an interesting filmography. As far as horror goes, she's got Black Christmas, Psycho 4, which was helmed by Mcgrath, and Headspace.
Speaking of musicians, I would like to throw this in there about Olivia Hussey. You know Steve Martin, the comedian?
Yes.
And a tremendous banjo player. He told her one time in a conversation they were having that Black Christmas was one of his favorite films of all time.
That's really cool.
It is that it's a good movie.
Yeah.
The Stephen King miniseries It, Olivia Hussey was Audra.
Nice.
But we'll move right along. Care Dulia. If I butchered that name, listeners, it's Joe's fault. Struggling musician, thinking that a baby will complete him, Peter. He was born in Cleveland, Ohio, May 30th, 1936, but raised in Greenwich Village. Made his film debut in 1961 with a movie called Hoodlum Priest, which I know zero about. And
never heard of it, yeah.
But he also shared the screen with the murderous HAL 9000 in Stanley Kubrick's 1968 film 2001: A Space Odyssey. He started a few horror movies, Black Christmas, Three Dangerous Ladies, and Full Circle, or The Haunting of Julia.
Are you going to talk about his cheekbones at all?
Hold on. I'm getting there. All right. Let me talk about his accomplishments and so far as how much they matter.
Before we objectify him.
But the character that he plays, like as Peter, was a fucking gaslighting creep.
Yeah, he was a piece of shit.
But he is a gorgeous man. Just razor sharp cheekbones, just the perfect jawline, squared off chin, those deep kind of eyes that just bedroom eyes. Yeah.
I saw him differently. I thought he looked like a nerd that I'd like to punch.
That sounds like a you problem.
Yeah, that's totally a you problem.
It could be.
I just want him to take me to Olive Garden
and buy you like copious amounts of pasta.
Yeah.
Yep.
And breadsticks. And
then tell me after we finished our meal, then he would tell me that I've been putting some weight on.
Yeah. He seems like that kind of guy.
Because he's that kind of a prick.
I agree.
Yeah.
Next, we have Margot Kidder. I don't give a shit what you think. I'm getting crunk and talking a mass shit. She played the role as Barb. That's what her character did. In case anybody's confused, she did not give two fucks the entire fucking movie and basically was just drunk.
Yeah, and in case you thought that Kane just had a weird random thought that came out of his face that had nothing to do with the movie.
You know, I'm trying to do a thing, and this time it didn't work.
Yeah, it just felt like a non sequitur.
Barb got day drunk real hard. She was all about that
she
shit.
got drunk the night of the party and was just drunk until she died.
Yep.
Yeah, she knew no out of bounds with her abilities to drink alcohol. She was... Ready to go.
Margot Kidder was born in Yellowknife, Northwest Territories, October 17th, 1948. Her breakout role was as Lois Lane in Richard Donner's Superman movie, starring opposite Christopher Reeves. She had a few awesome horror movies under her belt. Black Christmas, The Amityville Horror, Death Foretold. But she also was in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, and I really hate that movie.
Yeah, we're going to have to discuss the film work of Rob Zombie at some point.
Are we, though? Do we really
want to?
Fine. Margot Kidder tragically took her own life in 2018.
Oh.
Well, see you.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. John Saxon. If you blow this, I'll kill you, Lieutenant Fuller. Born in Brooklyn, New York, August 5th, 1936, he started his career as a contract actor for Universal Pictures. And the movies he got his start in earned him a reputation as a teen idol. In most of the horror movies we've grown to love him in, he has played a cop, but I don't hold that against him.
Sure. He's
a pretty awesome character actor, and he's been in so many fucking horror movies. I'm not going to list them all, but I'm going to list a few of them. We got Queen of Blood, Black Christmas, The Bees, which was an awesome horror movie about South American bees. Yeah, it was great. Beyond Evil, Cannibal Apocalypse. I think we all...
Yes.
Yep, Blood Beach, Scorpio with Two Tails, Dario Argento's Tenebrae, A Nightmare on Elm Street 1, and he shows up in Part 3, and Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
Nice.
He directed a movie called Death House. It was sometimes referred to as Zombie Death House. And honestly, he did a ton of horror movies, as in too many for me to just keep going on about.
Mm-hmm.
I made it to like the late 80s with this list. It just keeps going.
Right.
We got all night.
So sorry if I've pissed off any John Saxon fans, JD, for not listing his horror movie credits in their entirety. I'm just not going to do it.
Subscribe to us on Patreon, and Kane will list the entire filmography of...
No, Joe will list the entire filmography if he's going to...
Yeah, fuck it. Pay me. I'll do it.
Sadly, we lost John in July of 2020 to pneumonia. And I remembered this. I didn't even have to see it on the research I was doing because it's the day after my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And it's already been a shit year. And then finding out that one of my favorite horror actors dies, I'm just like, man, fuck 2020. This is stupid.
Yeah, not our best year.
All right. So next we have Marion Waldman. And listeners might recall this name because she's been here before. But
yep.
Marion Waldman, hiding alcohol all over the house as a cry for help, Mrs. Mac.
Quickly becoming a favorite of the show.
Yes. Marion was a character actress born December 16th, 1924 in Toronto, Ontario. We don't need to go too deep into this, but she was a choir girl that branched out by acting in stage plays. And again, like I said, if anyone's seen Deranged, they'll remember her as the seance pickup artist.
And boy, was she horny.
Yeah, she was going to get it.
She was ready.
And ultimately she did get it, but not.
She did. Yeah, she just keeps getting
But not the way she wanted it. She wanted very particular lovemaking to happen between her and Ezra Cobb, and it didn't go down that way.
You know, I've gotten to the point where I've loved both of the characters that she's played.
Yeah.
And the only horror credits that she has are Phobia, Black Christmas, and Deranged. I kind of want to watch Phobia.
Yeah, we're going to have to watch Phobia.
Just so that we can finish it off.
Maybe pencil it in.
I'm with it.
All right, next we have Andrea Martin. Bookish doesn't save you in this movie. Phyllis. She was born in Portland, Maine, January 15th, 1947. Andrea is really known for her work in comedy. She has 2 horror movies to her credit. She's got Cannibal Girls, which she won the Sitges Film Festival Award for Best Actress in.
Nice.
And then Black Christmas. And now, while I normally don't like to talk about an actor's non-horror accomplishment, but Andrea was part of the Canadian sketch show SCTV, which this included, while they were unknown, John Candy, Eugene Levy, Catherine O'Hara, and Harold Ramis, just to name a few of them.
Nice. Oh, wow. It's like a Canadian Saturday Night Live.
Right, yeah. And her thing was that she had like a talent for impersonations. So she was doing like Barbara Streisand, Liza Minnelli, Mother Teresa, and like so many more.
Oh my gosh.
So Yeah, on my own time, I'm going to see if I can't get a hold of some SCTV just to watch all of these comedy greats do their work.
I'm down for that, too.
All right, next we have Doug Mcgrath. Just the perfect storm of being a fuck-up, Sergeant Nash.
Yeah, he was brutal.
Yeah, he was born in Sydney, Nova Scotia, and his most notable role was Peter in the 1970 Canadian film Going Down the Road. He did some westerns and whatnot, but his horror credits are Black Christmas, Twilight Zone the movie,
awesome,
and Ghosts of Mars.
Okay.
I couldn't seem to find his birthday anywhere, so you get what you get.
Right.
I enjoyed that scene in the Twilight Zone movie where Dan Aykroyd was like, you want to see something really scary?
Yeah, and when we cover that movie, we'll totally go over that. Stop giving away the goods for free,
Way
JD.
to put me in my place.
No one puts JD in the corner.
Until today, sirs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really enjoying yourself over there, aren't you?
Kane's having
a lot of fun tonight. He's got the Christmas cheer.
He keeps coughing. I think he's ripping bongs while we're doing this. I'm pretty sure he's got his little ganja stash out. And,
Kane, are you Holden? Did Holden Caulfield come to the party tonight?
Yeah. Are you hanging out with Jack the Ripper? You got your little glass pipe?
All right. Art Hindle. I'm her boyfriend, but I don't really want to say that to her dad. He was Chris. Born in Halifax, Nova Scotia, July 21st, 1948. His first major role was a Canadian Easy Riders clone called The Proud Rider.
All right.
Fun fact, during the making of that film, he almost changed his professional name to Jeremy Kane. Huh?
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
This is because the producers thought that the name Hindle sucked. His horror credits are Black Christmas, the 1978 remake Invasion of the Body Snatchers, The Brood, Offspring, Monster Brawl, Sicilian Vampire, and my personal favorite, The Void.
Is there really a horror film named Sicilian Vampire?
There is. I didn't just make that shit up.
I believe you, but
I do like the idea that you would do that. Just like every episode, add like one movie that's fake, just to see if anybody catches it.
He's like, "Do not burn the marinara. I will kill you."
Yeah. But The Void, I know it's a newer movie, but I'm thinking that we're gonna end up having to cover that.
Okay.
It's just such a good movie. We'll watch it together. Yeah. And then as a group, we'll kind of discuss.
I'll talk about whatever, man.
Well, no, I'm just saying, look, we have a specific road that we're driving down. All right.
You know, those are your rules. I'm just here for the party.
Those are JD and I's rules, actually.
And Joe lives by his own rules, so
he's a rebel without a cause.
He is, which I appreciate.
Anarchy.
All right, next on we got James Edmond. I'm not ready to deal with pretty much anything, Mr. Harrison. That was Claire's dad.
Yeah.
He was born in Walkerton, Ontario on February 7th, 1924.
And dude had a bitchin' skullet. Let me just go ahead and say that. That thing was like, super, like, turbo skullet.
He did a lot of TV. The only other movie with like a slight horror bent was a movie called Devil Girl from Mars.
Sounds fun.
Which I've watched a couple of clips of in doing this research.
Yep.
And I'm going to definitely watch that movie because it looks awesome.
I will watch it with you.
Like a red demon girl on a red planet?
No, this movie was made in 1950.
Oh, never mind.
Next, we have Lynn Griffin. I'm a gal just trying to get by with an overprotective dad, Claire Harrison. She was born September 17th, 1952 in Toronto, Ontario. Her horror credits include Black Christmas, Curtains, and I think it's horror, but you guys might not agree. It was a Daniel Craig movie. It came out called Dream House.
I'm not.
Either of you see that?
No.
I did not. No, I know nothing of this.
I like Daniel Craig in most things that he's in, though.
We'll have to watch it and we'll see what you guys say. Listeners, do you think Dream House is a horror movie? I do. I think it has all of the hallmarks of a horror movie. You tell me what you think. But she was also in the Rick Moranis film Strange Brew. I know it's not horror, but I love that movie, so get fucked.
Let's add it to the list and speak on it. That's fair.
All right. So now we've got Les Carlson. He's calling from inside the house. Bill Graham, the phone tech. He was born February 24th, 1933 in Mitchell, South Dakota. Les has shown up in movies across all genres.
Yeah.
But our listeners might recognize him as the time-traveling reporter from Deranged.
Mm-hmm.
This motherfucker...
Yeah.
They had him dressed like Howdy Doody in this movie. I swear to God. He looked like a puppet. Like a little like a country western puppet with his checkered shirt or whatever. He just looked so goofy. He looked like a unmade bed from the 70s.
I've seen dudes at indie rock shows dressed just like that, so I don't know what your
Fair
problem
enough.
is.
Well, I mean, you're the douchebag that goes to indie rock shows.
He had a smoking hipster vibe to him, And when I say smoking, I mean like country smoke, like smoke, like pulled pork,
like barbecue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why
it wasn't
are we
a good
talking about
look.
pork so much this fucking movie?
Porky's.
Right?
It came up during Porky's.
Yeah, Porky's
so
just
we're
blessed
folding
the
it
show
back in. Indeed.
with its salty goodness.
All right, Kane. Sorry to interrupt you. You should
No,
go
you're
on.
fine. You're fine. So he did a couple of horror films with Cronenberg. He did Videodrome, and he did The Fly.
Nice.
David Cronenberg is one of my. He's an amazing horror film director, and we're going to need to talk about one of those real soon. Like I'm lobbying for The Fly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he also did a shit ton of television, including Friday the 13th, the series.
Nice. We
Sweet.
keep coming back to that Friday the 13th, the series.
Yeah,
We might
Yeah,
have
it
to,
keeps coming up.
Yeah, we might have to watch a couple episodes.
we should.
Yeah, we'll look into it. Next, we got Martha Gibson, sad trucker wife whose daughter was murdered, Mrs. Quaife. Not JD. No,
It's an
not.
unfortunate surname.
Born January 14th, 1939, Ottawa, Ontario. She's an actress and a writer.
Me too.
And I included her because she only had like a very short scene, but I included her even though she's an incidental character in Black Christmas. We also see her again in It Chapter 1 as another incidental character. And those are her horror creds.
That's what she does. That's her profession, is in playing the roles of incidental characters.
All right, so now we're going to get to the character of Billy.
Oh, Billy.
Yeah, the name was kind of tossed to the killer, and he has multiple credits, but none were actually listed in the film. Billy was uncredited.
Mhm.
So Nick Mancuso, Bob Clark, and Albert J. Dunk brought this monster to life.
Nice.
Bob Clark and Albert J. Dunk.
Every time you say J Dunk, I think you're about to say J Delicious.
I'm not.
J Dunkalicious. That's your new name?
Yeah, they did the voice work. I'm sorry, Nick Manusco and Bob Clark did the voice work, and Albert J. Dunk did the POV stuff.
Nice.
This was an awesome way to roll with a killer, in my opinion. We never actually see him. We just see his eye. And we hear him saying a bunch of weird fucking shit. Talk about Agnes, referring to himself, just going insane.
Yep.
Lots of weird stuff. I mean, the killer had like a multiple personality disorder and schizophrenia all mixed together or something.
Yeah, and having multiple people do the voice.
That's really smart.
Yeah.
They did a good job with that.
They really
Yeah.
did. They really, truly did.
It really made the character come to life for me.
Incidentally, Burt Dunk was also the camera operator that had the camera strapped to his face.
Well, yeah, he did
Yeah.
all of the POV shots.
I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay. All right, so we'll go ahead and move on to the score.
Real quick, before we do that, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're allowed.
While you're talking about the cast, I want to throw in some fun trivia. Saturday Night Live's Gilda Radner was originally offered the role of Phyllis. And I want to see the version of the movie.
That would be
Where-
incredible.
That
I
would
love
be so good.
Gilda Radner. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
she's incredible. Please continue.
So the score was done by Carl Zittrer, which is another unfortunate surname.
Yeah.
I couldn't find shit about where he's from,
The
but
moon.
he did a great job scoring this film.
Yeah, the music was good.
He's got credits that include Black Christmas, Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things,
Also keeps coming up on this show.
It's a tight circle. It really is.
and he also did Porky's
Oh my God. Porky's just
and A Christmas Story. So there's that.
That's the Bob Clark connection. It's the Bob
also
Clark
the
connection.
Unholy Trinity.
He did the score for New Jack City.
I'm not familiar with that score.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it. All right, so that's the actors. I mean, there are other people listed, but I'll be honest, listeners, I apologize. I don't care. They didn't matter to me.
You have to stop somewhere.
Yeah. All right, JD,
stay focused.
Why don't you tell us about the special effects?
I most certainly will. So the main person involved with Black Christmas's special effects was Warren Kaler, and Warren was actually uncredited for the effects and the props, but was indeed responsible for them. Kaler was best known for Jason X, Undercover
That's
Brother.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, Jason X was a little bit of a miss, but
a little? Jason
was that the
in
one
space.
was that the one on the spaceship?
Yeah, Jason in space was a
that
fucking
movie was
dumpster
stupid
fire.
as fuck, but I really like sci-fi horror.
I do too.
and
I
that
don't.
made it entertaining for me.
Yeah.
It was so
there's
bad.
not much of that.
Fucking
Right.
nanobites. The nanobites made
it was
Jason
a very stupid movie.
a fucking Terminator.
Yeah, it wasn't great. But anyway, Kaler did special effects for Jason X, Undercover Brother, The Sentinel, The Big Hit, Prom Night, and Day of Resurrection, which is a story about a virus that decimates the human population, and that came out in 1980.
Now, is that The Sentinel, the 1977 film?
Oh, was it remade?
Well, there's just two. There's like one that was in like the 2000s.
I think this one was in the 2000s, maybe like 2005 or 2006, something like that.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate because The Sentinel from 77 is actually a pretty awesome horror movie.
Oh, okay.
Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, that's a good detail to know. The art department consisted of Keith Barry, who pretty much took care of like the location, the house, the sorority house, and did some set design as well inside the house. And there was John Frenchie Berger and Robert Tannenbaum, who mostly just designed the movie poster. There wasn't a whole lot of gore in this. There wasn't a whole lot of... I mean, there was, but it's not like the film had the typical amount of props and prosthetic effects or any of that type of thing.
They spent their whole budget on the costuming.
Yeah, the costuming and more than
decorations.
Likely, the house, the sorority house, just locking down that property to film in probably accounted for a great deal of the budget. So the art department was actually led by Karen Bromley, who did art direction for the horror film Rituals of 1977.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, I mean, this film didn't demand that large of an art department or a special effects department because they focused on making this more of a suspenseful thriller, a slasher film. And you didn't even... Like you guys mentioned, you didn't even really see the killer. So a lot of the effects were just, actors holding perfectly still, and one in particular with a plastic bag over her head.
That was unsettling to look at.
It was very creepy, yeah.
It really was, and they showed it enough times to where you were just like, okay, this sucks to look at. But yeah, suffocation is gruesome to think about. And then I believe what was the woman's name that was also in Deranged? I'm drawing a blank.
That would be Marion Waldman.
Okay, so yeah, there was a little bit of fake blood when she wound up on that hook. That was about the extent of the fake blood in this film.
Well, and when Margot Kidder gets murdered, you see blood on the bed when the movie's ending, and then you actually, during the murdering, you see a little bit, just a little bit.
It was interesting that the first time the killer plunges the knife, I'm guessing somewhere into her chest or upper head, neck area.
It was in her bed. He missed that one.
Oh, okay. So that was a missed shot. That's why you didn't see any blood on the knife. But for some reason, I thought he made contact with the knife.
Oh, I don't know. I'm literally just throwing shit at you. I don't know at all.
Well, you're doing a great job of throwing shit at me. You're really, really good at it. So yeah, anyway, that's the extent of the special effects. And one of the rare occasions where I will say that even though it was not a gory film and there weren't many special effects much to speak of.
And no boobs.
I still enjoyed the film. Well, the boobs they're not a requirement of me. I noticed them in that one movie, but anyway.
I just keep bringing it up.
You do. You're hanging on to the past tonight. So anyway, but yeah. All that said, I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. Didn't necessarily expect to because I am not a fan of Christmas movies.
Me neither.
Even horror ones.
All right, well.
Yep.
Why don't we talk about our personal experience with the movie and anything you want to ask the internet?
No,
we'll go ahead and we'll start with you, Joe. You're not too drunk. You're just drunk enough.
Just drunk enough. Yeah, I don't have any like fun anecdotes with this movie. You know, I saw it when I was probably like 19, 20, and it was a good horror movie. And then I watched it again just now. And I like it. It's a good movie. The camera work was great. The costumes were great. The actors were just doing it. You know, the one thing maybe I want to throw in is I like to imagine when the story continues, how many cops the killer takes out while lurking in the basement before eventually being apprehended. Or the attic, I'm sorry. Before eventually being apprehended.
So many. But not Sergeant Nash. He will live to fuck up another day. He'll just get multiple colleagues killed.
He'll just boo-boo the fool his way through it.
The killer should have had a crack at Les Carlson's character for wearing that fucking shirt.
You hate that shirt
he can't
so much.
Because I'm starting to think that possibly Les Carlson is a Time Lord.
You're probably spot on with that. I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about because I'm not a nerd.
That's so not true, Joe. You are every bit as nerdy as Kane and myself.
Probably more so than...
I don't know about that either. I think we're all pretty equally fucking nerdy.
Yeah, in different ways.
In different ways, yeah.
In very different ways, yes.
For sure.
JD, why don't you tell us about your personal experience with the film and then anything you'd like to throw out there?
As a horror film, I enjoyed the suspenseful moments in this. I felt like those bits were played up well. And the acting was, successfully communicating their actual just utter terror of how that would go. The situation of someone, killing all your friends. And it's just, that's a horrific, grotesque thought. But I think the film, to your point earlier, after the Roe v. Wade ruling, I think that the film did some interesting things. And I think that's something to be discussed a bit.
It definitely had something to say.
Yeah, and I sort of feel that it's not always that you'll find a horror film being a platform for,
feminist ideas.
Yeah.
Exactly, and just human rights.
In many cases, very much the opposite.
Yeah.
Right. But I think there are more subtle commentaries in horror films, more symbolic, but this one I think that was more upfront, and I appreciated that about this film.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I did too. Yeah, like the fact that she basically tells Peter to fucking kick rock.
Yeah.
Right. She puts him in his place because he's, telling her...
You're not going to abort that baby. Like, motherfucker,
right, and
you don't get to tell me what I do.
Yeah.
Kill you with a fireplace poker.
That's it. You're going to die by my hand and it'll be head trauma.
Yep.
Enjoy that, you gaslighting piece of shit.
I wonder how that goes when, like, the cops just assume that her boyfriend was the murderer. And but wouldn't they still arrest her? And wouldn't there still be a trial? So I thought that was interesting. They go and they let her.
I don't know how the law works in that situation.
Yeah, it was.
Especially in the 70s. I don't know.
Sure. But I just thought it was interesting that they allowed her to finish her nice night's sleep and recover from...
There's a really interesting sequel at the other end of this movie that we never got.
Which is
what? Just remake.
Yeah, why do you suppose? Why do remakes over and over again when like you could continue that story? Like it's wide open.
Yeah. And I get really irritated by remakes most of the time, so I'm a little bit depressed to hear that they did this 2 more times.
Yeah. 2 remakes.
Feels unnecessary to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, how about you, Kane? How?
I've seen this movie multiple times, since I was, a kid. I think it was one of those going to my dad's for the weekend and
roast chestnuts around the fire and watch Black Christmas.
Yeah, no. It was just one of the random horror movies that I picked out.
Hell yeah.
the fact that there's no real, like there's no sex in it or anything like that. It's just violence. Like it was just Peachy Keen with my dad.
Right.
And I've just always loved it. Like I actually watched it a few months ago, just in passing. It was just like, you know what? I think I'm going to, because I watch horror movies when I go to bed at night.
Yeah.
I just put random ones on.
I will too.
I just love this movie. I think it's such a good movie. And the fact that it basically gave birth to the slasher genre.
Right.
Like there may have been other movies with murderers in it, but not like this and not with that point of view type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I always like monster vision or killer vision in horror movies, and I feel like this movie pioneered that concept.
I mean, there's some argument that Hitchcock
had
POV with his murderer.
Sure.
But I feel like this movie expanded on that.
Right.
So I feel like Hitchcock built the foundation, and then this movie built a fucking house on top of it.
Hell yeah.
Sure.
And then other creators have been adding to it. And now it's like the Winchester house in California. But I digress. I don't have anything. I know it's rare. I don't have anything to enter into the internet for the listeners to get back to me with.
Sure.
But I do think that Carlson is a
snappy dresser.
No, he's not a snappy dresser. I think the fact that he keeps showing up in these, I think maybe this film is supposed to represent him finding these horrible things that happened. Unfortunately, he can't do anything about it.
Sure.
But
hence the Time Lord comment from earlier.
Yeah,
exactly. So you know what? If you guys watch this, if you watch Black Christmas, let us know what you think. Does anybody have anything else they want to say?
I do. I know that neither Kane nor JD is going to say it. So, whatever you do or don't celebrate in the winter months, I hope that it's going well for you.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Bah humbug. But yeah, so if you watch Black Christmas, let us know what you think.
Humbug.
You can find us at wegiveYouBrainworms.com, as well as most of the places that podcasts live.
Sure.
I've actually made it so we're on Apple fucking Music now. We're on all of the things except for Pandora.
We're all over everything, everywhere, always.
But the easiest way to get access to us is to just go to wegiveYouBrainworms.com.
It's true. It's all there.
Do it.
Also, we warn you against forgetting to like, follow, and subscribe.
Yeah, that would be bad for you.
On YouTube.
And don't forget to click the bell.
You can also follow us on Spotify. You know what? This is dragging on. Everybody have a good night. And to all the good bah humbug.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Bah humbug. Turbo Skullet.